Okay, so the next thing we're going to learn is the bit of the Turkish get-up where you take your hand off the floor. So up until now, we've had this hand, this arm supporting you the whole time. We've taken our knee through, so we've got it behind the line, and we are here. What we're going to do here is make use of a really strong movement that you already know, your hinge. So they're pushing back of your hips. As you do that, as you push your hips back, I'm going to show you from some different angles, but first of all, as you push your hips back, that takes the weight off this bottom hand. So what I'd like you to do is just push your hips back and then bring them forward again, and experiment with how much weight you have in your bottom hand as you do that. So you can't help, as you push your hips back, you'll feel that your hand gets lighter and lighter and lighter on the floor until it comes off. Imagine you've got your hands on some like bathroom scales or something, and as you push your hips back, the number goes down, 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 down until it's weightless. And from there, you can take your hand off the floor, you've still got your weight overhead, but it's being held by the strong hinge of your hips. This is a really strong movement. We know that from our swings and our deadlifts. And it's from here that we can lift up and begin to stand, which we'll come to. So from a different angle, we come here from a different angle. You can see I'm going to push my hips back, and my hips are going to go back towards this back foot. As my hips go back towards this back foot, my hand becomes weightless and I can stand up. Okay? Same thing happens on the way down. We want to hinge. You don't want to kneel, you don't want to end up sitting on this heel. Where's a good position? There we go. You want to push your hips back so it looks the same as when we came up. You push your hips back, you should be able to stay in this position with all of the weight in your hinge before you put your hand on the floor to come down. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is practice this a few times. I'll change position because I like to be even. So what I'd like you to do is come to your knee behind the heel, knee behind the line position, and from there I want you to just try a few times of pushing your hips back, make your hand weightless, push them forwards, put the weight back into your hands. So we're going from 3 points of contact on the floor, all with equal weight in them, pushing your hips back to take that hand off the floor, and then to put it back down again. So keep moving backwards and forwards, take your hand off the floor, put it back down again, and just feel the weight transfer, and feel how it's your hips that take that weight. What we're not doing is keeping our hips where they are and then lifting our hand off the floor, because then all of that weight overhead is just coming into your spine, which we don't necessarily want. We want to put it in our hips. So you're pushing your hips back, taking your hand off the floor. And you can experiment with coming down as well. So the same thing's going to happen. Hips go back. You can keep your hand off the floor. You should be quite comfortable for a few seconds here, keeping your hand off the floor in this low windmill. You can push your hips back, keep your hand off the floor, put it down again. Slide it down the front of your leg, push it forwards, back into your tripod position, and then transfer the weight into those 3 points again. So coming up and coming down, just a few times on each side, and just see how strong that feels. Feel the weight transfer and feel the hinge, okay? This movement.